I'm going to call this regular meeting, April 1st, 2025, of the Hancock County Commissioners to order. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I'm going to move to accept the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there any public comment this morning? Brittany, you see anybody? Hearing none, approval of the minutes.
I'm going to move to approve the minutes of the March 18th, 2025 Commissioners' Special Meeting as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unorganized territories, morning, Millard.
Good morning, Commissioners.
You have anything to add to your monthly report, Millard?
Nothing to add, no.
I'm going to move to accept and file the UT monthly report as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Millard, progress on your paving project for Martin's Ridge. Anything else? Report on that?
Nothing yet, no.
Okay.
Millard
A
has,
field trip for next week. How long do you want to stay out?
I'm going to work with Michael, make that as short a meeting as we can. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we could be out of here by 9:30 at the latest. I'm thinking we ought to take a lunch with us, but gentlemen, I'm thinking early afternoon, we're done. John?
Yeah.
Sounds to me like early afternoon, back in Ellsworth by 1:30, something like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What was you thinking, Millard?
Well, I thought we'd be later, but okay, that's fine.
So that's not gonna get us a full round trip, is it? That'll get us a portion of it.
Yep,
We'll have to do another day if we want to see the rest of it.
oh, yeah.
Okay. Then we'll plan to leave here, leave the courthouse, Millard, as soon as the meeting's over.
Yeah, we'll meet at the courthouse and leave once your meeting is over. And
You decide what your route's gonna be, where we're gonna go, what we're gonna see, okay?
yep,
You anticipate the solar farm up to 16 being part of that trip?
yes, I would like to. I'll check with Dwayne and make sure the road is open.
Yeah, let him know approximate time maybe, and he might want to be around to talk to us about progress up there.
Okay, yep.
Chuck, anything else?
Millard, do you know is anything happening with the building that, we've had the problems with the condition of it?
With what road?
The condition of the
Number 8,
building,
demolition of that building on Graham Lake up to number 8.
I haven't heard from them lately. I will double check with them.
sounds good. That's all I got.
Okay, Nolan, I guess that's it. We'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay. Leroy, are you on this morning?
I am on. Good morning.
Morning. Anything to add to your monthly report?
No, just a little, the UMaine project did get in the water over the weekend, so that has been a success, they're calling it, so that's a good sign.
Good.
That's off the ramp.
All right, I'm going to move to accept and file the airport monthly report as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So request approval of the lease and operating rights for enterprise rental car.
All right, I'm going to move to approve the lease and operating rights for enterprise rental car of Boston LLC as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so the next three are they're all different, but they're kind of the same. We're trying to get basically a pre-approval for grant signing because of the time frame we're in with it. The bids will go out. The public notice will go out this afternoon if all goes well. And we have to have the grants in by the 28th of April, so it's not gonna really be terribly conducive to have a meeting in between.
And this is the chair will meet with Michael and you and we'll open up.
Yep, that's the plan, is the 23rd, we'll meet with you, Michael, and myself and have a Zoom link so that the public can access it also.
Are we going to sign documents then? Are we approving the documents that we're gonna sign then?
We're not gonna approve the bids, we're just gonna open the bids. We need to get the, because they have to go and be reviewed by Jacobs to make sure that the bidders are qualified. And then Jacobs will have the grant application ready by the 28th. So we can get the grant application, then when the next meeting we'll sign the contracts.
Gentlemen, do you understand what you're doing for the next three items?
Yeah.
You all set, Sam? Any motion is in order?
All right. Then I move to approve the pending completion of the FAA grant application by Jacobs Engineering for the construction of the snow removal and equipment building, and authorize the chair to sign on behalf of Hancock County.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm gonna move to approve the pending completion of the FAA grant application by Jacobs Engineering for the reconstruction of Taxi Lane Echo, and authorize the chair to sign on behalf of Hancock County.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I move to approve the pending completion of the FAA grant application by Jacobs Engineering for the renovation of the terminal building, and authorize the chair to sign on behalf of Hancock County.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm going to approve the exemption of the Hancock County bid policy to move a public bid opening to the county commissioners chamber meeting room at 8:30 a.m. on April 23rd, 2025 for the construction of the snow removal and equipment building project, reconstruction of Taxi Lane Echo project, and the renovation of the terminal building project.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Leroy. Emergency management.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Andy, anything to add to your report?
I really don't know, sir.
I'm going to move to accept and file the EMA's monthly report as presented.
I'll second
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
that. Aye.
Aye. Anything else, Andy?
No, not unless you have any questions.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maintenance, good morning, Dennis. Anything to add to your report, Dennis?
No, sirs.
I move to accept and file the maintenance monthly report as presented.
I second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have a request, capital reserve transfer request.
Yes. The first request is for the amount of $6,500 to cover the cost of added work and material and expenses at the Hancock site.
We've already discussed this last month, did we?
We did. Not the transfer, but the work.
The work.
yes.
Yeah, okay, so we just,
I'm going to move to approve the capital reserve transfer from G1-3011-00 in the amount of $6,500 to cover the cost of added work and material expenses at the Hancock site.
I'll second that.
discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I believe we have that for you to sign.
All right, and the next
Transfer.
first.
And next is a similar transfer request for $21,000 to cover the cost of replacing the PR1 steel door and frame, which is up at it's the man entrance at the Sally Port, at the jail.
Dennis and I and Tim looked at that the other day. That's in serious shape. That's and unfortunately, it's that heavy duty steel, and it's just the only vendor is the one that put it in. It's been fixing them. Just did one from Hancock County identical to this.
What kind of time frame is it to get it fixed? Just out of
Your
curiosity.
summer, Dennis, we talking this summer again? Tim,
Yes, I guess it'd be late summer probably if we get it, I mean.
late summer? Literally, it's gonna fall off if we don't do something.
I move to approve the capital reserve transfer for G1-3011-00 and the sum of $21,000 contingency included to cover the cost of replacing PR1 steel door frame located at the Sallyport entrance of the jail.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Hearing now, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You have an update on that?
Yes, Hancock site. So we have met with the town officials, the code enforcement crew at Hancock, and they are 100% on board with what we're doing, and I think the course we're following is permitting for much of the building is not necessary, but we're going to follow that course of action anyway, share our information, and if the planning board wishes a presentation, we'll give it to them. And the only permit requirement, I think, is for the tower. So we'll be putting that together and ready for that when the time comes as well. We've got frost leaving the ground, we've got the site. It's getting close to the time where we could start to consider doing some work out there. The first step is the survey, which is scheduled, as far as I know, and should be completed along with the geotech survey, which gives us all of that ground and site work information that we need to go forward. And our work on building D is going well. The openings are framed, expecting garage doors whenever they come in from the garage door company, and our space is built out for files in building C, and I'm looking at I've got a company coming in to give us an assessment of that roof, because we found a leak up there. As that information develops, I'll keep you apprised of it. And I got the heat on in building C yesterday. Started those heaters without too much trouble. So if we need to heat that building, we're able to.
What's the source of heat? Is it?
It's propane, and it's just some unit heaters suspended off the ceiling, 2 of them.
Pretty good size heaters though.
Pretty good size. We didn't seek to bring the building right up to like 80, but we started at 40 yesterday. In 2 hours and a half, I had it up to 58, so it will work when we need it. The terminations need some work. There's a few non-essential improvements that we could make that we'll do so.
I'll remind the commissioners that Dennis does not have a budget for the expenses of the Hancock site. But, you know, we do have expenses that we're going to incur this summer that need to be considered and supported by the gentleman. And one of them is additional power in building D.
Yes,
And as we repurpose C, which he just got heat in, there's going to be additional expenses there. But right now, the space has been developed for district attorney's files in building C.
that's right.
And with a little more work on that, I think we can accommodate that. And, but again, this summer, you're going to hear requests from Dennis for additional funding, which is necessary to develop the site until next year's budget, when we can get a, a budget to support more development.
And I think if you're amenable to it, and Monica as well, my approach will be to, on a monthly basis, make an assessment, see what's needed for resources, and make the request, and we can put our heads together, come up with a funding scheme for whatever the task at hand might be.
Right now, your incidentals are from that 25,000 initial
That's right.
reserve. Any idea what's left in that account?
No, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, I haven't done too much to it, but actually those utility bills are just starting to come in, so.
Okay.
But would be simple enough to put together a little report on that if
I will report too that the prior owners, the Jordans, are still continuing to do free gratis support on the site. They're gonna rip wrap the ditch on the
Yeah,
left of us coming in. Rip wrap is down there, they're gonna put that in. They're also, as soon as it dries up a little more, they're going to grade, just fine grade that site and get the ruts out and make it more.
and there's an area around Building C that has seen the earth piled up against it. And we gotta do something about that. That might be our own shovel work, and maybe they help us with some trenching, but.
Yep.
So,
Well, they've
All-
been
all
very,
for us,
very accommodating. I think they knew what we needed.
super partners, yeah.
Good people to deal with. Anything else, Dennis?
No, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Gentlemen,
thanks.
no, sir. RCC, good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
Anything to add to your?
I would just add, we've had a few days of ambulance shopping again. It's a high call line for EMS calls. I walked in yesterday morning, all three of them were on separate calls. We had to shuffle around and get some ambulances other places to cover. But that's typical. It gets worse during the summertime, but we work through it. The other thing I would add is I did get the sample phones for this T-Mobile project. They're not all set up correctly. We got a couple of them yesterday set up with the vendor. We'll start testing this push to talk to see if that will supplement. It may not be T-Mobile, but we're looking at the concept to see if that will supplement some of our radio comm issues around the county. That's all I've got.
I move to accept and file the RCC monthly report as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a monthly report? Oh, Josh, anything to add to your report?
Nothing at this time, sir, unless you have any questions on those items.
Move to accept and file the human resources monthly report as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Monthly bills and warrants, Monica.
I move to accept and approve the monthly bills and warrants as presented.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Monica, you kind of plan for full status review like end of March, maybe the second meeting in, May. Second meeting in May, giving us a copy for the
Yep.
full accounting sheets for year-to-date,
Yep.
year-to-dates and so on. Let's plan to do that. Maybe we'll have a little discussion then on the status of each
Okay.
department and so on. Thank you. Anything further, gentlemen? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. What's the escrow project discussion? Oh,
So, at this point, it's just a question if any other work had been undertaken as part of the escrow agreement, and as I understand it right now, that there's no change in that, but they haven't started yet necessarily doing a lot of that work because of,
Yep.
obviously it was weather dependent. So as long as everybody's on the same page with that, that's what I'll report back to the attorney, because she had asked about that related to the status of the agreement. Just wanted to know if there was any progress or payments or anything needed to be discussed, so.
just so you understand, Jim, that's that $400 has been set aside, waiting for paving and fencing. We did have a meeting the other day with Andy, Dennis, Michael, and I, to talk about the fencing. From the original assessment and whatnot, we've dramatically reduced the amount of fencing that we think we need. And Jordan's has already talked about taking the value of what we don't need and putting it towards paving. So at some point, we're going to have to sit down with them, once we know for sure, we have I won't call it firm, we have a pretty good idea now what fencing we need, so we can get a price on that. And then, whatever that is deducted from the 400,000, the balance will be put towards paving. And we'll hopefully get some of that, if not all of it, done this summer, this fall. Okay?
We still do have the issue though, right, of the escrow.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Don't we still have to discuss the escrow? whether
Yes.
it's Interest.
So essentially, that was the other request she had made. Apparently, the attorney that drew it up didn't realize that the escrow account shouldn't have been set up as an interest bearing. It should have been a non-interest bearing. she's gonna work with the attorney to straighten out the language of that, and I'll come back with a revised agreement to amend that with a change, but she wanted to know in concept whether the commission was okay with that. And essentially, when we inquired further, it was basically explained that the attorneys can't earn interest on probably money that's been escrowed that's for other projects, so.
I would have moved to approve amending the Hancock County escrow agreement to state that the funds will be held in a non-interest-bearing account rather than the current language that indicates an interest-bearing account.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen. Let's see how much progress we can make today on a community broadcast, community benefits grants. We've all, the three of us have had an opportunity to review the applications, to score them based upon preset criteria. You have a document that gives our results. Michael, I don't think you're here this morning, whatnot, that Danny's Partners, my score for that is 34.
Okay.
Giving them a total score of 167. And in ranking order, what we don't have is ranking order for the averages. Do we? No. Michael, we need to do that. We need to rank the averages in chronological order so that we can talk about the highest ranking grant application and then how much money we want to designate to each one until the funds are depleted.
Do you want to give me? a couple minutes
Yeah,
here
I'll give you a
real
couple
quick?
of minutes and we can talk about these while you're doing that. I would like to let you gentlemen know that Ellsworth Public Library is as we understand it, is a department of the city of Ellsworth. And consequently, it's not a nonprofit as we defined it in our application, and so their application was disqualified. Okay, now we have $80,000 to disperse. We have $196,000 worth of, $185,500 worth of requests. Obviously, we can't grant each request. We're going to have to decide based upon rank ordering how much we're going to give each one.
Be right back. I'm just gonna unlock something so I can get access from this computer.
Right?
So I mean, if you looked at the total rather than the average, I'm not sure if the average should indicate something different or not.
Well, I think, yeah, we're finding that loaves and fishes is number one.
Yep.
Downey's Partners is 2.
Yeah.
Home is 3.
Yep.
Hancock County Soil and Water is 4. Something's wrong here.
No, you're right, though. because it jumps.
Look at Franklin Community Center.
Well, this one is next. The bottom one is next, actually. It's wrong. It's a mistake. That's next up.
Oh, on your sheet, I'm not sure if you're looking at the same one we have it. So does next step have a total value of 148?
Yeah.
Do you see that, Sam? Okay, because it's listed here. Okay, so number 5 then would be next step. Number 6, Special Children's Friends. 7 would be Eastern Maine Development. 8, Hancock County Auditorium, the Grand. 9 would be Hancock County Homes Foundation. 10 is Hatter Ellsworth. 11 is Franklin County Community Center Trustees, and Skills is number 12. I don't know why I had, we did have this, I don't know why I had Michael doing that. So that is the ranking order, gentlemen. So each one of them can have up to $20,000. Number 1 is Loaves and Fishes. They're asking for the full 20. What is your pleasure, gentlemen?
I'm encouraging 15,000.
Okay, so let's, under, I was gonna say, let's do this tentative right now.
Yeah.
1 is 15,000. So second place is
Downey's Community Partners.
Downey's Community Partners. How much?
They're asking for 15.
Sam, any idea? Somewhere between nothing and 20.
10,
Let's start with 10 for right now. Third place is Home Incorporated. They asked for 20.
Is it 15?
15 for them. We're now up to 35,000. Fourth place is Soil and Water.
That's 40.
Uh,
The first 3 is 40.
It's 40. That's why you're the treasurer and I'm the. Fourth is Soil and Water. They're asking for 12.
Which one were we on?
Fourth is Soil and Water.
Okay. That was, I'd say the 12 that they're asking.
12. It's 52. Fifth is Next Step. Asking for 15. What's your pleasure, gentlemen?
Next up, I had it 15.
15. 67. 6 is Special Children's Friends, 1 and 8.
That was really
8, 75,000. We have 5,000 left. And 7 is Eastern Maine Development. Pardon?
Just put 5,000 in there for now.
That's your full 80. Okay, well, I tell you, my emphasis this year, whatnot, has been on housing and addressing the food insecurity issue in children and senior, the adult elderly issues. Disappointed we didn't get up to Hancock County Homes Foundation. That's Meadowview. I'm disappointed we ran out of funds because they suffered a fire out there a few months ago. And they're trying to raise funds to recover from that. And some other infrastructure issues. For me, we try to do a lot for housing, a lot of it's interim, short term. When you give somebody a voucher for a hotel, you're doing one night. But Meadowview, if you can get into Meadowview, which is difficult to do, limited space and whatnot, you have continued housing, good housing, the elderly, and I really would like to see us support that because, with nursing homes going by the wayside, it's more and more difficult for the elderly to find housing. Right now, it was pointing in the paper that even in-law apartments now are getting more difficult because communities are mandating sprinklers, which is adding $15,000 to $20,000 to the cost of just an in-law apartment. And so,
That fire, was the fire covered with insurance?
it doesn't sound to me like it paid at all. There's other issues that whether or not fixing that, it's addressed other infrastructure issues, because I know this, what you said was plumbing issues or something.
Yeah, heating.
Issues. Yeah, I don't know the full story. But according to a neighbor of mine whose son is in there, this is a one-time request, and for just this one event, so.
Can I point out that next step domestic violence, last year you gave them 10-5, and this year you have them at 50.
And next step is 5. We gave them how much last year?
10-5.
10-5. Next step, 8,000. It's just a suggestion, gentlemen. And the 8,000 be considered for Hancock County Homes Foundation. John?
Oh, that would give us 7,000.
7,000? No, yeah, 40. Homes Foundation. Can we do that, gentlemen? Yeah, right, the first 3 or 4 boards we made, there's food insecurity and low sufficient. Counties, community partners, supplies, meals. Home, housing and meals. And, but now you're getting up into your economic and development, Hancock, soil and water and Eastern Maine development, which this year whatnot.
So,
We're not as high on my list of priorities as others, but
Are you considering public input at this point?
public input. Yes.
Any of these? As a board member of the Soil and Water District, appreciate your consideration and support, but it really directly supports the local farmers that are producing that food and those organizations locally that are making that food available to the indigent, to
Well, we've
food insecurity issues.
given them what they've asked.
Yes,
So just say, he's gonna make sure that I don't cut that.
Okay.
I am.
Nice job.
and I'm also on the board of Meadowview, and I appreciate your support of that as well.
We have a suggestion, gentlemen. Do you want to make changes?
Sure.
You all set with that? John, you all set with that?
So
Yeah.
these are now in order by ranking, Michael? Is that,
Of total scores of all of them, yeah.
Just make sure.
is, Franklin? Center trustees is on there.
Yeah, that one's wrong. It's because that one that's, the 148 is actually next up. The one that's,
Oh, that's next step.
that's next up.
Oh, yeah, that. This one there was next step, right?
Yeah.
So let me go through this again, then. Loaves and fishes, we're gonna give 15,000, correct?
Yep.
Downey's Community Partners, we're going to give 10,000. Home, we're going to give 15,000. Next step, we're going to give 12,000.
No.
Soil and water,
Oh, I'm sorry, soil and water. Soil and water is 12,000. Next step is gonna be 8,000. Special Children's Friends is going to be 8,000. Eastern Maine Development is going to be 5,000. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
And then you're gonna do 7,000 too.
Hancock County Homes, Hancock County Homes is gonna be 7,000.
How much to the auditorium?
Nothing to the auditorium. 15, 25, 30, 40, 52, 68, 75, that's 80,000 by my book. Everything come up with Michael?
Yeah, yeah.
What did you have for next?
Next step,
That's
$8,000. To get them all,
40.
each and each one individually. Portion. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the document that Mike has just given to us is the award as presented. I suggest the motion to approve the awards for 2025 for $80,000 as presented. This will be the official document. Okay. Motion is in order.
I'll second that.
John making the motion. John making the motion.
I'll second that.
Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Okay, that concludes our work for this year's benefits accounts grant applications. County administrators' comments? Michael?
Nothing at this time.
Commissioners, do you have any comments? Except that next meeting, interestingly enough, I wanted to keep short, the longest one, we're done in 40 minutes. We're going to try to really put off whatever we can for next meeting and try to get at it as soon as we can. I suggest you bring a lunch. Don't know where we're gonna be come lunchtime. And hopefully we'll be back here by Wednesday. Okay? If no other business,
To adjourn.
I'll second that.
discussion, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You told me, 9 hours.
Go ahead.